speak.
Every action has an equal and opposite reaction. That is Sir Isaac Newton's third law of physics. And here's how it works. If you push on something, it pushes back at you. For example, you lean against a wall, and the wall pushes back at you, and you and the wall stay in place. I also think it is a good law for crowdfunding. I'm Carole Dean with From the Heart Productions, and we are a nonprofit that is a partner with Indiegogo. So I have seen a lot of successful films create platforms on Indiegogo and do a good job of raising money. It's those people who realize that Indiegogo only gives you the platform. You have to do all the work. But that's okay because you know what to do when you work with someone like From the Heart. It's important that you realize that those people who send out heartfelt emails, tweet, are on Facebook chatting about their film, and have a very good mailing list, send out creative newsletters, that's all energy going out. And what happens is that energy comes back to them with money. Those who simply post their film on Facebook and post it on Indiegogo and do no emailing or newsletters, they don't receive half as much money as those who put the energy out and watch it come back. So we have been working with Indiegogo as a physical sponsor and a partner, and I love working with them. And I wanted to bring you up to date with some of the questions that are the most asked, like what are the fees, how long do I run a campaign, how do I make an ask on the website when I create my trailer, what's the best thing to say or do, how long should I run my campaign, and where do I get the names of the people to add to my mailing list. So I thought we'd cover a few of these today. To start with, the fees are sort of like a Monty Python routine, so I'll give them to you and you may want to jot them down. Kickstarter is 5% plus about 4% for Amazon. Now, it's a go or no go. You either get your money, you get your goal, and you get your money. You don't hit your goal, you get no money. And I've seen people come back to us as physical sponsors and helping them to go back to those donors. Maybe they got up to $4,000 for a $5,000 goal, and they have not been successful in getting even 50% of their money back. It's long gone. People do it instantly. They are happy to help you when you're in a project, but not so happy later on. Now, Indiegogo is some young women who were filmmakers, and they went back to college, did a business plan, and created this marvelous platform for us. Here's how they work. They charge you 4% plus 3% for PayPal and credit cards, and you get your money whether you reach your goal or not, and they charge you a 5% surcharge if you don't reach your goal. So if you go with Indiegogo, it's 12% total. So now you have another option. You can work with a fiscal sponsor like From the Heart. Because of our partnership with Indiegogo, you have no penalty. You get paid every 2 weeks for all the money you raise on Indiegogo by PayPal. That comes directly to your fiscal sponsor. And that costs you a total of 9.2%. And your donors get a tax write-off. Those are your benefits. Okay, so the next question is, how long do I run the campaign? And we suggest 60 days, 70 maximum. Those numbers have been shown to be the most successful campaigns. All right, so how much money do I ask for? This is a real important item. First of all, I don't recommend that you tell people that what the full budget of your film is. You have to get back into the everyday world where people are glad they have a job and they're trying to make their house payments. If they think that your budget is as much as a house would cost, they're not too interested in giving you $100. So you need to break your request into parts. Maybe the first part is research, the second part is interviews or making a trailer, and then production, and then post. You can go back and mount more than one campaign with Indiegogo. It's all okay. So how do you make that decision on the dollar amount? Well, you take your mailing list and you go down it name by name and decide. Aunt Bessie has tons of money. I know I can get $3,000 or $4,000 from her. Okay, $3,500, Aunt Bessie. Then you go to the next person. Well, maybe $50, and go down the list. And when you get through, if let's say you come up with $4,500, well, it's going to cost you $9.2 to raise the money. So add another $500 to cover your costs. Now you're at $5,000. So how do you feel? Does your body say, yeah, I can do that? Or do you get sick when you think about it? Check into the body, because remember, each little cell is a thinking, breathing cell, and it has its own mind. You have to be totally in tune with this number. Find a number that fits. I've seen people go after 15,000, 20,000 because they knew they could hit it, and they did. Their confidence, their faith, all helped them reach this goal. Find your correct number. Now, what if you've got 350 names on your mailing list? Well, I'd say you're in big trouble, and you better decide that you have to do a lot of pre-production work before you launch your campaign. So, where do I find names? Number one, you take your film and go through your script, or research your documentary, step by step, go over every character and find out, is this about someone from Chile? If so, you have Chilenos who live in the United States. So there are a lot of places you can look, Facebook pages, websites, organizations on the web. Find those Chilenos that would be interested in knowing about your film. Does your character ride horses? Now you have the equestrian market. These are all your niche and sub-niche markets. Mark Rosenbusch is really good with that. I'm M-A-R-C, Rosenbusch. He's great with internet distribution. Finding your peeps is very important for you. You're finding your market for your film while you're raising your money. And this looks good to any distributor. Okay, next thing, you say, all right, so I need more names. Carole, I'm still only at 400 names. What do I do? Well, you think about putting ads on Facebook. You can do that for a minimum fee. You might run it for 2 or 3 days and say, do you like Chile? And see how many people click and say yes. Now you've added names to your Facebook page. You might also create what we call strategic alliances. That is, that you make a list of all the markets that you think your film relates to. And go on Google, search those markets, find organizations that support them. Now you want to look for the big groups. You want people who have an opt-in place on the front of their website so you know that they're collecting names, and you should be able to check them out online and find out how many customers they have, how many belong to the group. Now you might find that you can get 5,000 names, or you have an organization with 10,000 people. Now you're talking. Getting a membership or working with that organization to tell them about your film and to offer them something. Remember that whenever you ask for anything in our film industry, you have to be prepared to give back something of equal value. The key is, what's in it for me? We're all familiar with that. So be prepared to offer this organization something special, perhaps a private screening for their members, perhaps a discount when the film is finished on the DVDs or the downloads, and definitely a credit in the film. There are lots of things you can do. Use your creativity. So this is the end of part 1, and we can get into more things in part 2. Thanks very much for joining me. FromTheHeartProductions.com.